Have you ever been so good at something that you never knew when to stop showing it? This frog had the best voice in the whole swamp. Every creature stopped to listen. And then he decided once a night was not enough. The snake had been waiting for that one decision. In the swamp, at the edge of the dark water, there was a frog who sang. Not the flat, single-note croak of every other frog. His voice had range. It moved through the reeds and came back fuller, richer. Every night when the sun dropped, the whole swamp filled with sound. Dozens of frogs calling together, and his voice sat on top of all of it, clear and strong. This kept him safe. Not just his voice, but the crowd around it. A snake lived at the far end of the swamp who hunted by sound alone. At night, with every frog singing at once, the snake could not separate one voice from the rest. The frog was hidden inside the noise he helped create. He had been safe his entire life without knowing why. Then he started singing in the morning. Not because he was hungry, not because the swamp needed it. He sang because the morning was quiet, and his voice filled it better than anything else could. A pair of birds stopped on a branch above him and listened. A turtle turned toward the sound. He sang louder. He sang at midday when the heat sat flat on the water and nothing else moved. He sang in the afternoon when the light went orange and long. He sang between meals, between rests, between every gap the day offered him. The other frogs sang at night. He alone sang at all hours. He had gone from one voice in a crowd to the only voice on the water. The snake noticed on the third day. At night, the swamp was still a wall of sound, impossible to separate. But in the morning, one voice called from the same patch of reeds. In the afternoon, the same voice from the same direction. The snake did not rush. It moved the way water moves. No wasted motion, filling the space it was given. On the fifth morning, the snake was in the reeds before the frog arrived. It settled into the mud, flat and still, and waited. The frog climbed to his usual reed, puffed his throat, closed his eyes, and opened with the first note. The snake moved forward 3 lengths. The frog held the note, building it, tilting his whole head back with the effort. The snake covered the last distance. The frog opened his eyes. The snake was close enough that the frog could see his own reflection in its eye. He cut the song off in the middle of a note. The half-finished sound hung over the water for a moment and dropped. The frog jumped sideways into the deep reeds and did not make a single sound for the rest of the day. His throat was full of notes he did not release. He sat in the mud and let the swamp be quiet around him. The snake moved in circles for an hour, tracking the last known position, finding nothing. Then it left. The other frogs sang that night, together, the way they always had. He joined them. One voice in a crowd again. Safe again. The frog who sings at all hours is the easiest one to find. Your best skill is worth protecting. Timing is part of the skill. Hit like if you know someone who cannot stop performing even when the room has gone quiet. And subscribe, because next week, another animal is about to learn that being too available is the same as leaving your front door open.